Hello and welcome to my channel Vision 6D. We are mainly dealing with project management and I start again those live sessions. Today's session is about budget. Budget is part of cost management into project and is an important part. Often when I was in the beginning of my career, I wasn't in charge of the budget or the costs. I was mainly concentrated on the technical aspects. And this was really fine for me. Later on, I understood that if you want to move ahead your career as a project manager, costs are a really important topic. So budget is part of the costs. And if today you are not dealing with costs, be aware that it will be important for you in the future, because you never know what the next project will be, what the next company will be. There might be slight slowdown on the line. I ask you for some patience. It's a new stream, so I'm trying to do my best and will evolve with this. So today's topic is introduction to budget, and for this I will also perform a live demo on budget with MS Project. I have to play from time to time with the mouse, so bear in mind that I'm doing this while I'm standing here. So first of all, the budget. You know that project managers will like to have different approaches, and one of the approach is the one from the PMP, in which you find different processes. And budget is part of what we do when we do the planning of a project. We do the planning, it's not only the schedule, but it is also the cost and of course the budget. So that's why you see determine budget being part of the group which is here represented in blue and which is the planning. The output of the budget is to have first of all the approval from the management or the stakeholders, and then the important thing is that the budget gives us a reference to how the spending is going to occur into the project. So for this, we are handling what is called the baseline. There will also be a session and some videos on how to baseline a project with MS Project. Now, if you want to do the budget, you need first to do estimations. And your estimations, they will need to follow certain steps and to follow certain methods. So I have already videos that are available, that are watched on those subjects, and you can also refer to them to have additional information. I've said that there is a baseline. So what we do is that at a moment when we are ready, when we are really sure that we are going to manage this project in terms of cost and schedule, we can fix this like taking a picture of what the path of our project should be, and this is what we call the baseline, and we'll set that baseline. So this is also an aspect that I'm going to give more details in specific sessions and specific videos about baselining with MS Project. I was talking of the flow, the cost flow and flow of activities that you find in the project that follow what I expected. And if there are variances, what can I do about those variances? So this is the flow that you can follow in a way more detailed video on this. its flow of activities and processes in cost management. That video is already available and already watched. Any question you have, you can ask. I cannot really see them right now, but if there are questions, they are all really welcome. I give you here another example of the budget structure in the construction sector to have you being able to have an idea. So the budget for a building, for example, you have land costs, then you have the construction costs, and then you have the professional fees. Into this you can include the architect, engineer, civil engineers that do their work. And after that you have costs for furniture, fixture and equipment. And in the end there are contingency, there are those reserves that are available. So I wanted to give you a view on this, on how you can structure a budget for a building. Now in MS Project you can create reports, you can use reports that are already defined into MS Project. But here I have the possibility to create a good report, and that report is what I'm going to show in a coming video, how to build a budget report with MS Project. This helps also in the understanding of MS Project, how you can create your own reports. MS Project is really a powerful tool with a lot of possibilities. You simply need to learn about them, try them, and then do it for yourself. With that, I'm at the end of the part which I would call presentation, and I will now switch to sitting position where I can start to do the work of a budget for a renovation of a house. I will now switch the camera. I'm sitting at the same moment, so like that you see me, and I will change the context. Just a second. So you see actually behind me, MS Project is here behind me. You see now MS Project behind me. I'm in the working environment. I'm just checking that everything is working. So I have simply opened here MS Project, and I inserted a certain number of tasks which are here. In that project, it's the renovation of a house. Maybe I can switch something here just to give an overview. No, it's not the right one, so this is not what I wanted to do. So I'll stay like. So the project is set to start the date of today. I moved by accident at the task, which is here. So I move now to the resources, and here I'm going to enter resources which are of a special type. They are resources with those 4 resources, that you understand how this works. And there will be resources of type costs, because they are contractors and that simply come and do their work. So they are here, you see. And now the particularity that I need here is to define that the resource is here of type budget. There is no difference, you don't see any difference into the resource name. So I will do the same for all the other ones which are here, but this is important to be done with those resources. I will now add a resource, which is my... Now, what I will do is that I have simply defined those resources, and now I go back to the Gantt chart. I'm looking and say welcome to the people that are currently watching. The session is about establishing the budget into MS project. There was an introduction about how to understand the budget. One important point, it's also to understand that the budget is something that we do at the beginning of a project. So we don't have all the details all the time. So view. I'm looking for the summary task definition. I'm missing that summary task, and it's really important to me. I need some help. Project summary task, that's it. So I will now rename the project. So just from here, it was for me a bit difficult to find again where I could get the summary task for the complete project. But this is really important, and we will see why in a moment. So now what I want to do is that I am in the situation where I defined several contractors. I've received their proposition, and I'm going now to make the budget for this project. In order to see budget information, I have to add here columns. The reason why this summary task was so important to me. So once I've done that, I will take another view here by going down and looking at more views. And what I'm looking for is the resource usage. I have here the resource usage that is here down, and here I will add the column which is again budgeted cost, and I will as well add the other column which is budgeted work. So I have here the two columns, and here I will now have those different resources, and I will need to define them. So I need to go back now to the Gantt chart. And assign the different resources. Carpenter, plumber, tile setter. Okay, so I will go here. I need to go into the information, and here within says I will add one after the other one the different resources. Oh, it means I forgot one. Okay, I will correct this. The plumber, and then tile setter here. We will already look what happens with this. So if I go back now to the usage, resource usage view, we see here that, for example, if I take the carpenter, we see that it has one task that is defined. It's becoming from that allocation that I did just now, and we see that here I can add the amount. In that house renovation, the carpenters were redoing a lot of work, so it did cost 50,000. So you see I'm adding here 50,000. And the electrician in the house renovation here, they did the work for 2,500. The plumber, he did the house renovation for 2,500, yes. And the tile setter, they did it for 1,000. So with this, I have my budget resources or contractors that are defined here. So you see it, how it is defined right now. I will come back on the project manager and external resource. You see that for the moment I cannot key in anything on this part because I haven't defined them as budget resource. So I will go back now to the Gantt chart, and you already see a change. You see that here we have 56,000 as budget costs. So for the work, you see that for the moment we don't have anything. So I will go back now to the resource sheet. And I need to enter here the project manager's information. I had forgotten to define it as a budget resource. I'll do it, and I'm pretty sure I forgot also to do this for the external resource, the helper that will come and help me. Of course, I had forgotten to do this. So now I've done those two things, and I go back to the Gantt chart just to show you that nothing changed. So I have to go now back to the resource usage. And here below you see a change, in the sense that now we have here budget work which is defined, but I haven't assigned them to the summary task of the project. So I need to go back to the Gantt chart, house renovation, I double click on it, and now I should be able to add the project manager and the helper, the external resource. Like that, I have all the resources that I need to define the budget of this project. So I say here, okay, and now I can go to the resource usage. There is a new line with the assigned task, which is the summary task, house renovation. So I welcome everyone that is watching the video right now. It's a live session, so it's a long time that I hadn't brought live sessions, so I hope you are enjoying it. You see that it's not always so easy, there are mistakes, but this is the situation when you do live. Sometimes you forget where are things, but for the moment I'm quite happy I managed to get where I am right now. So, house renovation for the project manager, I'm going to say here 400 hours. This is a typical situation when you do a renovation or you do your construction and you are yourself in charge of what you want to do. You need to go and visit a lot of suppliers, contractors, get ideas on what you want, what you don't want. So it's why this part takes a lot of time. But in our budget there were 400 hours for this, and the external resource will help me and has for about 100 hours. So with this I have defined those two work resources in the column here of budget work. And once again you need to pay attention between those two columns. I made the mistake several times to try to enter into the upper cell the value, but it's in regard of the task. So now that I have this, I will switch back to the Gantt chart. And I welcome the people that follow the session live. You will also be able to follow the session afterwards. But we see now that here on the line of the house renovation, we have the budgeted costs, which we already had, and we have now the budgeted work. So these are the two components we need in a project. I just want here to open a short parenthesis. Organizations are handling this in a different way. This concerns the internal resources. You might have been in those situations where you need to buy equipment, but you are also yourself involved, where they like to convert it to money. That is to say, it's easier to compare two projects when you just have cost values and not a combination of cost plus internal work hours. And they define a certain rate per hour and they transform those 500 hours in an equivalent cost. So I have a complete video on this subject of internal resources that you can watch. It discusses this topic, how you can do or at the actual stage as a reserve. and for the hours about also 10%. So we'll admit that I create a reserve of 6,000 euros or Swiss francs, and I will add a reserve of 50 work hours. So now, how do I do that? What do you have as ID? How should I do that? We've seen we were just working with resources. So is there another way? The simple answer is no. We have to create specific budget resources in order to create those reserves or margins, if you prefer. So for that, I will switch again to the resource sheet. And here below, I will create a resource that I name reserve cost. And that one, I'm going to define it as of type cost. And I'm going here to create also a reserve of type work. So this is already done. Before I forgot to go and to say that those resources are specifically of type budget. Now I'm going to do it. So here within the general aspect of the resource, I'm saying that this resource is of type budget. To remember, if you saw the beginning of the video, I've tried to allocate such a resource to a task. It refused. It said that that kind of task can only be assigned to the summary task of the project. And I had some difficulties to find that summary task, but in the end I found it. So let's do it also for the work one. It's also a budget one. So till now I've created two resources, one of type cost, one of type work. What is left now to me is to go again in the resource usage. Oh, I got a mixed up here, more views, and I'm looking for resource usage. Okay, I thought that everything had disappeared for a second, but no, they were just up. And you see that we find here below our resources, they are defined here. So I will see if there is something that I can do from here. We haven't looked at the information that is contained within those resources, but you see that here it's simply defined as a budget. So far I'm fine, but this is not a need to assign this resource to house renovation, to the summary task. So for this I go back again to the Gantt chart now that I know that I really have those resources, and here into resource into the house renovation, I have those resources that are not defined at the moment, and I'm going to add them. So I'm adding the cost reserve, and I'm adding the work reserve. For this, we see that for the moment nothing changed. The budget is as before, the budget work is also as before. So now I go to the resource usage, and you see that we have a change. And here we have the two resources that have now an assignation for the house renovation. So we said we are going to add a 10%, which is more or less 6,000 Swiss francs to that project, or 6,000 euros. And the house renovation, I'm going to add 50 hours. So far, I have here the detail of my budget, in the sense that I have for each resource here inside the cost, and I have here down the reserves I need with those two resources I added. So what we want now to see, it's the result on the Gantt chart and the renovation task. The summary task renovation, you immediately see that the budget has increased by 6,000 euros. So it's now 62,000 Swiss francs or euros. And the number of budgeted work hours, they have increased by 50 hours, which is really what we had defined. So this is now our finished budget at this state of the project. And what is interesting to notice is that we didn't have to define all the details of all the activities. We didn't have to do any planning, any scheduling of those activities. We did some planning because the budget is part of planning and is an important part of planning. But at the actual stage where what we need to know is our budget, we don't really need to plan the details of the project. So we now have the budget. You now know how to create a budget. You even saw me doing it live, with sometimes looking for the summary tasks, and now you know how to be able to do that. You have in the beginning also some introduction about budget. I think this is important. There are some key elements that were given there. One thing that I want also to add, in the next weeks there will be a video coming, because two subscribers, Amanda and Paul, they came with the same question. What's the difference between costs and budget? So I will enter into this. Sometimes it's really confusing, and sometimes there are no differences. If your project is simple enough, costs and budget, they are the same. But in MS Project, there are different operations when you are handling the costs or when you are handling the budget. The budget in MS Project, what's the use? I will show it also in a coming session. You can create reports with these graphs. They are always better, they speak better with the graph than to show the resource usage table. So now I'm at the end of what I wanted to present into this session. I hope that you enjoyed it. There will be further sessions like that. It's not always easy to do, because you see sometimes under the online rush I forget things, but for me it's interesting. I managed to get it at the end. I think for you it's also lively, and you will be able to go back to this session. Of course, it will be now permanently online. You have suggestions for lives, you have suggestions for videos, they are all welcome. It's really interesting. I must say that I much appreciate the exchanges we can have. I have now recently started also to do directly consulting online about MS Project, and some people got trainings on this. My training also goes into project management. If you have topics, you can take a one-on-one session with me, and we'll arrange this. Of course, this is not free, as are the tutorials on YouTube. And what I also want to say, it's easy to schedule this, and for me it's really interesting, and the feedback I got from those experiences from the people is really amazing. Is really amazing because sometimes it spares you a lot of time, because I can understand where you are coming from, what's missing you, and I'm really going to help you on the points you need. So it's really an efficient way to progress. Once again, what I want to say, and this is going to be my conclusion on this topic of the budget. Often, when we are engineers, we do not work on the project management part. We are involved into project. We are overwhelmed with technical issues. Later on, we progress, we become project managers, but we are still overwhelmed with deadlines and with technical issues. And sometimes we are so happy that somebody else is looking into the cost issues. But it is important in the evolution of a project manager that he grasps the cost and budget part, because there will be other projects where you will be at the beginning, where the budget is defined. For example, in 2021, you might be working on a project, but this project is going to end, and the management might ask you to prepare the budget for a new project that they intend to do in 2022. So those knowledges are important. They are important for your career, for the understanding also of everything that is happening in a project. And of course, to have a good way to discuss with the management, to know the terms, to know what you can do with MS Project, how it's going to help you to be more efficient. So with this, I hope that you liked this session. You did it. Thank you, because I saw that there are already some likes. These sessions are also open that you can ask questions, and I'm just seeing that there is one question from Grant Skidmore, and I'm just reading the question. So, is there a way to make the duration of house renovation equal to duration of the budget resource hours? Okay, this you have to do it after. At the budget level, we just define those working hours because we have those resources defined as working only resources. What you are asking is the planning. So all this is still totally open. Totally open. It's now you enter into the phase of scheduling activities. So yes, you can adapt, you can make it, but you have to do it. MS Project now for the scheduling is not going to look back at those budget resources. And to be really precise, and your question make me think that there is one thing I haven't answered. It's not that I haven't answered, but I haven't said. Let me just go back to the resource sheet, or let me do it in a different way. If now I have the carpenters and I'm saying that, let's say during execution, the carpenters are going to work, and I say I assign the carpenter to the execution task, for example. It's oversimplified, but just to say it. You see that MS Project is complaining because those resources are just budget resources. What it means, it's that when you are going to deal with the real carpenters, if I can say, you will need, oh, okay, I need here to go out, okay, that way. You will need now to recreate new resources. You will need, and that's why I'm going into the resource sheet here, apply. all those resources that we have here were there just for the budget. You cannot assign them to real activities. So you will need to start here by saying, okay, I recreate a carpenter resource. I don't know, I've done it the opposite from what I do usually. Usually I call the budget resource budget carpenter, budget electrician, budget plumber, budget tile setters. Okay, so here I have to find another way. So I need to define again those resources now, but we were in the budget and now we enter into the scheduling of resources. From here on, I need to redefine all the resources, and of course I can those ones apply them and assign them. Yes, I'm just looking to take the right one. So I'm assigning them now, and this I can do it. And from here on starts the real work of schedule planning. So this is one important point. It's true that I went too fast. I had forgotten about this, but your question made me think of that. So yes, from here on the schedule is open and it's up to you to define the deadline. Usually when we present a budget, there is a small schedule planning with the key milestones that we'll find, and for this we will use here up the timeline to show, for example, to stakeholders when there are important milestones in a project. And of course, in that house renovation, for example, we had to redo the facade, and the people had to take holidays. So of course those points were important. We had to show to the stakeholders that they were going to stop the work for a period of 1 month and that it would start after. That's why all the delivery of the complete project was postponed by 1 month. So these are things you have to do. So I see that you were happy with the answer, and I thank you because you are the first, and I really appreciate to have that kind of questions. It's always a bit surprising because I might know, I might not know, but that's it. So for that, I'm now done, and there are no further questions. There will be those additional sessions. I will try to find a certain rhythm, so you can share this also with your friends and colleagues. I try every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Geneva time to do a live session. The topic those days is mostly on costs, because it's one subject that I'm treating now, but there will be a lot of subjects regarding all the aspects of project management. So once again, you have suggestions, they are welcome. The evolution that I'm going to do is that we are going to look at costs, we are going to look at baselining, and then how do we control a project by the cost sides. And for this we are going to look at the earned value, and we are also going to look at the different performance indicator and indices that we use for project management and variances of costs and all that. So far I'm done. I thank you really much for those that participated. I hope you have enjoyed it. I'm quite sure I start to be thirsty. It's time to go and have a drink. So have a good time. Bye bye. See you soon. Bye.